And welcome to the second segment from our program Nile Oracle here in Nile TV International. And in the second segment we are going to tackle the competition in the field of information technology about the most important and most competitive topics of struggle in today's world, which is of course the information technology and the artificial intelligence. Of course, great competition worldwide among the world countries regarding these very important issues, and of course Egypt and the Egyptian administration is paying great attention to this very important field of information technology, and we are developing this domain in Egypt in a very important and very speedy way, and that was very clear also in the new cities that we are developing, the intelligent cities that we are developing, and of course also the octagon that Egypt did inaugurate during the past weeks. To shed more light about the importance of the artificial intelligence and the competition worldwide in that very important domain and its impact on every other domain in the world, we are very much delighted to be joined here in the studio by our very prominent guest, Dr. Ahmed Serwa Mahrous. Dr. Ahmed is of course a very important professor of artificial intelligence, information technology and remote sensing at the Faculty of Engineering, Helwan University. Thank you so much, Dr. Ahmed, for being our guest for tonight.
Thank you to give me this chance. It's actually an honor for me, but actually I am a full professor of geospatial intelligence.
Yes.
It is not artificial intelligence. And my university, it is now Capital University. It is not no longer Helwan University. And of course, I'm here representing myself. And that's it. I am a full professor of geospatial AI or geospatial artificial intelligence.
Yes. Dr. Mahrous will be back to start our interview here, and you will introduce to us and explain to us, of course, the difference here between the artificial intelligence and the geo-artificial intelligence, but that will be right after this report.
The contest between the United States and China is increasingly taking place in laboratories, data centers, and semiconductor facilities as much as in traditional arenas of economic and strategic competition. Artificial intelligence has emerged at the center of this race because control over advanced AI depends on a much wider ecosystem, powerful processors, high-performance computing, data centers, energy software, research talent, and sophisticated semiconductor manufacturing. Recent evidence points to a competition that is becoming increasingly close. The 2026 Stanford AI Index reported that the performance gap between leading American and Chinese AI models had narrowed by March 2026, while the United States continues to produce more leading models and holds major advantages in AI infrastructure. China leads in several measures of research output, citations, and industrial robot installations. The competition is also moving deeper into computing power. In June, China's supercomputer reportedly overtook the Americans' rival in the latest top 500 ranking, putting Chinese high-performance computing back at the top of the list. For Washington, technological leadership has increasingly become linked to a national security. Export restrictions on advanced chips and semiconductor manufacturing equipment have been used to limit China's access to some of the technologies required for cutting-edge AI development. The debate is now extending even to components inside AI data centers, with Washington examining restrictions on certain Chinese optical transceivers used to move data at high speeds. For Beijing, the response has been greater emphasis on technological self-reliance. Chinese companies are working to develop domestic AI chips, while investment is being directed towards semiconductor production and other strategic technologies. beyond AI models toward designing its own AI chip, illustrating how the competition is spreading from software to hardware. The emergence picture is therefore simple technological supremacy nor complete separation. It is a race for greater technological resilience and for the ability to shape the technologies that will influence economies, industries, and strategic decision-making for years to come.
Welcome back to our dear guest in the studio, Dr. Ahmed Serwa Mahrous, Professor of Artificial Intelligence. Dr. Mahrous, before taking this break and looking at the report, we were talking about the difference here between the artificial intelligence and the geo-artificial intelligence and the usage of both domains.
Okay, the first, of course, artificial intelligence is actually a generic science, and it's actually pure informatics, while geospatial and artificial intelligence, it's actually application of artificial intelligence in the field of space. For example, algorithm can be applied generically or maybe in general way, while in case of using information related to the position, for example, longitude, latitude, position, maybe lines, lengths, distances, areas, volumes. So now we are dealing with geospatial information. So in case of using geospatial information, it should be geo-AI or geospatial artificial intelligence. Of course, it is basically it is artificial intelligence, but it is mere concerning with the space. So this is why we have a race in this science, because I think nowadays we have global conflicts, some issues concerning wars in Ukraine or maybe between US and Iran. All of these conflicts actually based on geo-AI. So this is why nowadays we have a new branch of AI, which is geo-AI.
Yes. Dr. Mahrous, the meaning of technological power, technology has moved actually from just being preliminary and instrument of economic development to becoming an important actually component of the national powers. With the AI, advanced computing and semiconductors now central to the strategic competition, how should the technological power be measured at the moment?
Actually, now we have a race, as you said at our introduction, and of course one tier has the methodology and the other tier has the mineral or maybe have something like the industry. You know, we have something like critical materials which actually involved in factorizing or maybe in producing semiconductors and processors, and so which is of course it's actually China. So China has the critical material while US has the methodology. So now it is if you want to make something or maybe to measure the power should be the integration between them, between the material and the methodology. So this is why now we have a global competition between US and China, and now the measurement of power of how can you apply the integration between them. Of course, US tried to find something like alternative sources of such materials, something like germanium or cadmium, a lot of rare materials. Of course China is actually the main source, but of course we have some minor sources such as Africa or maybe American Latin or something like this. But of course it is not big. So China represent the source of the material, and US represent the methodology. China is searching for the methodology to find another alternative technology instead of US, and of course now they have something like agreements between them. Of course at the beginning we saw President Trump actually threatening China by maybe making something like a punishment on exports and imports on Chinese products. But of course, after a while, I think the experts, American experts, study these decisions well, and then they told him maybe he is mistaken because we don't have an alternative source for our rare material, and of course they gave something like an example of producing iPhone in China is actually maybe less than maybe 50% if it is produced at US. This is why he makes something like retreat in such a decision, and now we have something like a soft discussion, or maybe soft war between them.
Indeed.
And of course now the tier which will be stronger, that maybe make something like an integration, as I said, between the methodology and the mineral. I mean, how can you produce a full product inside your boundary, or I mean inside your country?
Yes.
And that's it.
Yes, indeed. Dr. Mahrous, the latest Stanford assessment actually indicates that the performance gap between the leading American and Chinese AI models has actually narrowed to a great extent. From a technical perspective. What actually were the factors which enabled this rapid convergence in the AI capabilities, and what's more are we going to witness in the coming few years?
Of course, we have a risk, as we said, and of course China makes something like a breakthrough by searching for an alternative methodology. For example, now they have an alternative engines, something like DeepSeek, for example, and of course China now turned to automate everything. For example, Air Force Defense, its system is actually now following fully automated, or maybe semi-automated system. So you cannot approach Chinese boundary, and this is actually some of fears, because maybe if we have something like a special case, for example, what if we have a civil plane, maybe it maybe got lost or something, and approaching Chinese border, it will be hit. It will be hit. Maybe a missile or something will hit the plane, because it is fully automated, and this is actually make US afraid of such intelligence. Of course, it is something like a breakthrough. We have a Chinese military jets that fully automated. Of course, I don't want to mention the model, but now AI make everything automated. So if you want some while to make a decision, now it can be taken in a fraction of seconds. And in some cases, AI not actually accurate in some decisions. For example, it may cause a global conflict. Maybe in some day
because
we can.
It's not humans who are taking.
Actually, AI has no bias. AI has no bias.
Of course.
A human factor, or maybe the human himself has something like a bias. For example, how can you make a differentiate, or maybe how can you make a difference between a face who is angry but he is good inside himself, while you are seeing another face smiling at your face, but he is your enemy. And of course, AI now has no algorithms that can discover I mean the intention of everyone. So in some cases, in some military applications, of course, now we have something like a robot, or maybe a military robot that can fight instead of you. So of course now we have something like a self-aware AI, which is now something like a secret. It's actually a military secret, as I said. Forgive me because I mentioned military, because the organ of AI is actually to make an automated decision in case of war. Anyway, so now we turned to something like a fear of AI, beside the need of using AI itself. So we need to balance between the fear and the use.
Doctor, you have mentioned a very important point, but I will leave it here to get back to it after this report about the pros and cons of the AI in very critical domains like the military and the impact on the security of the world as well. That, our dear viewers, would be our topic after this report, where the technological competition between Washington and Beijing is not taking place in isolation, where its consequences are spreading across the global economy, reshaping investment in opportunities and decision, reaching partnerships and the technological choices available to countries outside the two major powers competitions. More details in the following story.
The technological competition between Washington and Beijing is not taking place in isolation. Its consequences are spreading across the global economy, reshaping investment decisions, research partnerships, and the technological choices available to countries outside the two major competitors. The semiconductor industry illustrates the complexity. The most advanced chips depend on a highly interconnected production chain. Taiwan remains central to advanced semiconductor manufacturing, while the Netherlands plays a critical role through lithography equipment, and American companies retain major strengths in chip design and AI computing. China, meanwhile, is investing heavily to reduce its dependence on foreign technology. Recent industry analysis highlights the concentration of the advanced chip production and the scale of investment being directed towards semiconductor capacity in both the United States and China. Technological competition does not simply divide the world into two producers. It creates a network of dependencies for countries outside Washington and Beijing. That reality presents both opportunities and challenges. Access to computing capacity, AI expertise, cloud infrastructure, and advanced digital systems can accelerate development. At the same time, growing restrictions and competing technology ecosystems could make technological choices increasingly strategic. The United States has been seeking to strengthen trusted technology supply chains through initiatives involving semiconductors, artificial intelligence, and critical minerals. In this regard, Washington is considering urging partners to choose between competing U.S. and China-linked AI cooperation frameworks, a development that illustrates how technology partnerships are becoming intertwined with geopolitical alignment. Yet the global technology landscape remains more diverse than a simple two-power contest, in the sense that European countries are seeking greater technological autonomy. Asian economies remain indispensable to semiconductor production. Emerging markets are expanding digital infrastructure and AI adoption, while other countries are developing their own AI and digital transformation capabilities. The question is therefore not simply who wins the American-Chinese technology race. It's whether technological power becomes concentrated in a few major centers, or whether the next generation of digital technologies allows more countries to become meaningful participants.
Welcome back, and continuing our interview with Dr. Ahmed Serwa Mahrous about the usage of AI in the security domains and the military domains as well. How do you see such usage, and can we see that only the developed countries are capable of such usage of AI in these domains, or we can say that even the developing countries are making concrete steps in order to follow suit, and to what extent we can actually use the AI in these domains?
Actually, as we said, the AI, it is something good, and we need to balance between the need of using AI and the other side, to balance the fear of using AI. In case of security, for example, and of course in military, let us start with security. Actually, it is difficult because we have something called bias, or maybe human bias. AI cannot, maybe we have some studies that can study the facial the facial features of your face, and that can make something like a prediction of your feelings. But of course, it's not accurate. Or maybe, you know, if you have something like an actress or something, or maybe an actor that can pretend well, actually he can deceive AI. You know, this is why you know, the device of discovering lies at the best. Actually, some people
Can beat.
were well trained, yes,
Yes.
can overcome such devices. The same as AI, of course. But of course, you need to study some internal issues, something like heartbeats, for example. But of course, it is not a pure signal. I mean, maybe I have something like adrenaline raised in my blood, but I am actually innocent. Or maybe I am nervous, but I will not, or maybe I will not do anything harmful. And that's it. So in case of security, we need to make something like combination between fully human and fully automated system. I mean, side by side. I mean, we will use AI or maybe automated system, but under my watch. Under my watch, I mean, I will watch the performance, because we cannot accuse innocent people depending on AI. Actually, as we said, AI, you know, something like appearing, or maybe study appearings. In case of military, of course, as we knew from the past, every army has its own trousers or maybe suits or something. So AI can make something like a discrimination between the allied soldier and but what if we have a deceiver or something like insider? Of course, AI should study, you know, the steps, or maybe we have something like, you know, something sleeping cells, you know, sleeping cells inside our army. So AI cannot discover it, because he will be static until a certain moment. Maybe such a moment will maybe make something like collapse the whole system, and that's it. So AI should be used beside the human factor. And of course, now, yes, we have some fully automated system in some countries, something like Air Force defenses. Of course, in case of anti-missiles, yes, it's actually fully automated. But as I said, maybe we have something like a special cases. What if we have something like a wireless or maybe cut-off wireless network between a plane, a friendly plane, and the ground base? So it will be hacked, because it is actually a fully automated. So this is actually the fear of using AI. So as I said, like any other field, we need to make something like a combination. What is the benefit? Actually, we will reduce the human power force. I mean, instead of using 100 persons, maybe I can use 2 persons or 1 person watching the system,
So is it
like factories.
something positive or negative from the usage of AI? Would it lead to some problems in the employment matter? Because we are starting here to maybe depend more on the artificial intelligence instead of employing citizens.
Intelligent question, actually, believe me. Yes, some fears concerning employment. Yes, some jobs may be disappeared in the future.
Yes.
And some jobs may be merged with other jobs. Examples of, for example, translation. Yes, now we have a smart glass that can read. That can, of course, it's not mine. Actually, yes, we have something like a Ray-Ban Meta. Anyway, yes, we have some smart glasses provided with some cameras and provided with something like a processor, or maybe it can be connected with your phone, so that it will transfer the picture of what you are seeing or maybe what you are reading. Actually, it can make something like a screenshots, and then pass it to something like OCR, and then pass it to AI engine. So it can make something like vocal instructions for you, or maybe interpreting. I mean direct translation. Some classes have something like a monitors. Yes, something like a hollow monitor. I mean, it is something like semi-dark, or maybe semi-dark glasses. So you will see a screen here inside your glasses, and you can control the screen. It's something like a computer. And so we have something like something like a watch, or something like this. Actually, we have in our market such a product, and believe me, some students use it. Yes, I don't mention this issue, but believe me, it can solve the exam fully. Yes, and the student will not learn anything anyway. So we call it smart glasses. So it can read, it can make something like exposing some pictures, and transfer it to AI, and it can gives you the answer on the glass screen, or maybe both. So that now I think in the future, no need for any translation. Maybe actually I made something like an experiment when I was presenting a presentation for a Chinese people. Actually, their English was not good, so I make something like a plugin inside my PowerPoint software, and so I was speaking in Arabic and then translated into simplified Chinese. They actually clapping for me. How did you do this? Actually, I was speaking in pure Arabic. Of course, I can't use the street language. It should be pure Arabic, and then it is actually translated into simplified Chinese on the screen, and they actually understood everything. And so in the future, some jobs such as this job will be disappeared, maybe partial, or maybe translation, not interpreting. So direct translation, no need for this. Another issue, developers, or maybe software developers. Yes, we have a challenge, but I think we will need to the developers to make something like a review, or maybe make the integration. Of course, AI can now provide some code, or maybe some source code can be provided well, but of course we don't have the integration, or maybe the user has some needs. AI cannot know what really you want. So we need the developer to make such integration between the needs of, or maybe the user needs, and the source code provided by AI. So I think in the future, no need for all of these developers. I mean software developers, or maybe translators. Maybe in the future we cannot terminate. Yes, it's something like a bomb. Yes, actors. Yes, actually it turned to be something like animation. Yes. Animation. AI now can make a movie for you, or maybe something like a full movie with your face, with your voice, yes, without actual acting. So I think some jobs we need to think about it. We need to reduce the numbers of such graduates, and another jobs maybe can be invented. As I said before, something like AI reviewer, or AI searcher, or maybe AI designer.
So we might witness some changes in the job markets in the near future because of the development of the artificial intelligence as well.
Yes, of course. Now, as I said, everything turned to be AI. Actually, I advised my students to put in their CVs the word of AI, and of course, I encouraged them to use AI ethically. I mean, yes, in education, and searching, in data collection, or maybe in advising, because I cannot be 24 hours with the students or maybe beside him, learn him. So AI can make something like a supportive tool or maybe supportive educational tool.
Doctor, as advanced technologies become increasingly actually connected to the national security and economic resilience, technological dependence can carry strategic consequences as well. How has access to the critical technologies changed the traditional concept of economic sovereignty, and what could be here the dangers of the usage of AI in that domain as well, and what are the benefits as well?
Yes, I think in case of studying economy, you know, some economical issues depending on, forgive me,
Yes.
ignorance. Yes, ignorance and knowledge. What if we don't know the value of such mineral in our land? Of course, we will export it. What if I have an AI engine that and the AI engine told me that it is a big mistake to export such mineral? It should be factorized, or maybe it should be processed, or maybe pre-processed. Pre-processed, I mean not a full product. What if our economy depending on such exporting this material to get some hard currencies? Of course, the behavior of our economy will be changed. Maybe we will think 100 times before exporting such materials. For example, we have a black sand or maybe dark sand in Sinai. Actually, such mineral, it's actually a base concept in fact, you know, in the product of solar cells. Why we cannot make something like, or maybe we can import the technology instead of exporting our mineral. Yes, we can import the technology itself. Why we cannot tell China to open? I think we have something like an agreement in such field. I mean, I think we have something like a negotiation between Egyptian government and the Chinese government to open something like a solar energy factory here in Egypt. Why I should export my dark sand, which is valuable, to China, and then China return it as a solar cells? This is just an example. Of course, in my opinion, yes, if we have an AI, I think AI will tell us it is forbidden to export any mineral, even petrol. Yes, I know we are depending in exporting some minerals to get hard currency. But believe me, if we have an AI engine or maybe AI advisor beside the decision taker, I think the decision will be changed. So in case of economy, it is obvious. Yes, some economical decision will be changed, and of course I cannot say that AI is fully correct. No, actually we need to balance. What if I have a critical condition? So I should export some mineral, or maybe I can think about make something like a treatment. Maybe 50% exporting, 50% can be used internally in my own factories, or maybe I can make something like a treatment or agreement between the technological international companies come to Egypt. Actually, China at the first decades of the previous century, actually Chinese did this.
Yep.
Yes, at the beginning, China, you know, we have a lot of wars. You know, China has a lot of wars between China and Russia, China and India,
Yep.
China and a lot of countries. And after that, after many decades, they actually understood that they should depend on their own capabilities. And actually, the first step, you know, offering raw material with something like a discount for the international company. This is why U.S. companies opened something like a franchise or maybe branches inside the Chinese land. Why we cannot do this in Egypt? I think we, in case of AI, yes, a lot of economical decisions will be affected in case of using AI. Of course, as I said, not we need to balance between our needs and between AI itself. Maybe AI something like a pure theoretic, or maybe something it is not a practical, or maybe we have something like a political pressure on us. For example, something like petrol. Yes, we have a saying from the Western leaders. Yes, I know they said that if Arabs don't give us the petrol, yes, we will make something like, anyway, yes, something harmful for them.
Finally, Dr. Mahrous, what steps here we should be taking here as developing countries, and of course for Egypt to take, in order to be in such competition for the development of the AI?
The first, education. AI should be inserted ethically, and we need to change our measurements of evaluation. I mean, it is not a crime for the student to use AI. In case of we put something like a main principle. So the first issue is to maybe organize the usage of AI in education. Organize it ethically and fairly. I mean every student should have the same engine with the same capabilities. So this is actually the first step. Second step, we need to change our job market. Yes, we need to turn our jobs to be intelligent. I mean instead of make an advertisement, for example, to make something, to make a hire for a person who is graduated from Faculty of Engineering, we can add, or maybe add some AI skills. For example, actually it should be practical. I mean, we need to establish a new certificate of AI. I mean, yes, we have a certificate of engineering, for example, in engineering and medicine and pharma, a lot of every. But beside it, we need to put something like a condition for graduation. You should acquire the AI certificate. Yes, I know we have something like ICTL certificates in the past. Yes, I know. But of course, it's not enough. It is actually an old-fashioned.
Yes, because this domain is developing very fast.
Yes, but believe me, it is actually very easy, because thanks for God, because AI is actually soft. I mean, now it is AI, it is now free, and it is now soft. So for students, a lot of engines make it free. I don't want to mention some certain engines, but believe me, if we have something like a university account or educational account, it will be free. So as I said, in education and in job market, and actually we need to make to turn our citizens to be smart. You know, with low cost. I mean, for example, instead of using traditional phone lines, we can. I know here in Egypt we are using now a lot of communication software, and we can use AI tools, something like in security in our streets, for example, in crimes, or maybe in watching traffics. I mean, we need to insert AI inside our cities. So education and in job and of course in our job market, and inside our cities, and of course in our homes. Yes, maybe it is costful, but we can start.
Yes, it's always the step for being part of the future. Of course, Dr. Ahmed Serwa Mahrous, Professor of Geo, Artificial Intelligence, Information Technology and Remote Sensing, Faculty of Engineering. Thank you so much. Yes, Capital University. Thank you so much, Doctor, for being our guest for tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was a real pleasure. And that would bring us to the end of this edition of Nile Oracle. Many thanks for watching.